Carmelita. Did you do your homework yesterday?
Yes, I did. I teach my mom, and I do some, like, I use pencil to do some tests for her.
Wow, that's great, Alita. So how did you feel teaching her about the tens table? Here, let me.
I think it's.
So, why do many animals lay eggs? Okay, go ahead.
So they can have babies.
Right. So we're going to read this little lesson to find out, okay? Go ahead.
Why do animals lay eggs? Birds are not the only animals that lay eggs. Reptiles, amphibians, and fish all lay eggs. Insects and many kinds of sea animals lay eggs too. A queen bee can lay more than 1,000 eggs in one day. Animals lay many eggs. Animals lay many eggs because some of their babies will not survive. Many young animals might get eaten by other animals.
Okay. So 2,000 eggs so a queen bee can lay more than 2,000 eggs. So imagine these little tiny eggs right here.
Okay.
So most of these eggs are not going to make it into insects. So most of them are probably going to die before they're born, right? So that's why the queen bee needs to lay so many eggs, so that at least some of them will be able to survive. Because if she only had like 5 or 10, then maybe none of them would survive, right?
I watched Cat in a Hat. It's why does a bee lay so many eggs? So they can make lots honey.
Well, that's also true. So if there are more bees, then they're going to be able to make more honey, right? So that's also very true. Okay. So it says the queen bee lays thousands of eggs in combs. So do you see this kind of whitish, creamish thing right here? So this is called comb. So it's like instead of a nest, the bees lay their eggs in combs. So it's like how can I call this? It's like a little box that has tiny holes. And so in those little holes, the bee puts the tiny little eggs in there. So they're protected.
Yeah.
So let's look at this right here.
Oh.
Okay.
Salmon also lay thousands of eggs. They lay their eggs in between rocks in rivers.
Wow, okay, so look at that. All of these are tiny little salmon eggs.
Yeah.
Okay, what about the sea turtles? Well, we read a story about this, remember? The little sea turtles.
Sea turtles bury its eggs in sand nests to keep them safe. Wait, the literature book is right. Look, maybe the picture, it has the same picture, look.
Maybe, right? Yeah, so what are the little baby turtles doing now? Where are they going?
They're going to the moonlight.
To the moonlight. Yeah, so they can go into the sea and the waves can wash them into the sea, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, look at this little one right here, hanging out. Okay.
Many animals that lay eggs do not take care of their young. Female sea turtles come onto the shore and dig holes. Then they bury the eggs in the sand and leave. A female sea turtle can lay up to 150 eggs. Then the eggs hatch. The young must find their own way to the ocean. they must learn how to live on their own. Then a young turtle gets eaten by other animals like
Seagulls.
seagulls.
So seagulls are those big white birds that are on the beach.
Yeah.
And so if you think about the story that we read yesterday about the sea turtles, you realize, or was it yesterday? 2 days ago.
Yeah, yesterday's nap.
Right, 2 days ago. So if you think about that story, you can see that the turtles were actually in a lot of danger, right? From the time they were born to the time that they, were getting bigger. And so thankfully in the story, who helped the turtles when danger came? Humans, right? But most of the time, when turtles are in the wild, humans are not going to be around all the time to help them. So many of the times, these little turtles are not going to make it to the ocean. So they're probably going to be somebody else's dinner or something like that.
But turtle has a hard shell, remember?
Yeah, but they can still eat the squishy parts, I guess.
Maybe the head is very hard.
Maybe, right? Yeah, who knows? Okay, so what about this caption here?
Baby turtle must find their own way to the sea. Sometimes people help by keeping away other animals who want to eat the turtles.
Okay, so yeah, it's good to protect them. How does an egg protect the animal inside? So think about those little blue eggs that were in the page before this one. How do you think that little egg protects what's inside?
Because the egg is hard to crack, not like we eat the egg we eat.
Right. Yeah, so when since the baby is not inside of the mom's tummy, the baby needs that little hard shell to protect it and so that nothing squishes it or anything. So do you remember what the animals eat from the eggshell? What is in right, the yolk. So they also need the yolk so they can be able to grow. So that's very true. Alrighty. Okay, next page.
How did animals from eggs become adults?
Alrighty.
Most eggs have an outer shell or covering that keeps the growing animal inside safe. The egg also keeps the young animal from drying out. After the animal is full formed, it's hatched from the egg.
Okay, so this is actually very interesting. So the egg also keeps the young animal from drying out. So imagine if it's like a crab or a lobster, right? And if it goes, crabs can go out into the sand, right? And they can be on rocks and everything. So their little shell is going to keep a little bit of water inside. So that way they don't start dying like a fish.
I think most crabs are eaten by humans.
Yeah, probably. But so yeah, that's why their shell helps them a lot. So here we're going to look at a crab life cycle. So this is going to be really interesting because look at a baby crab.
Yeah.
So okay, which one do you want to read first, the adult or the baby?
The baby.
Okay.
After 2 weeks, the eggs hatch. A crab larva can come out of the egg. The larva look very different from its parents. The larva begin to eat and grow.
Okay, so here we can see the word larva, okay? So the larva means an animal that is just born. Okay, so the animal that just came out of the egg.
Like a living thing just born.
Yes, but it's an animal.
Okay.
An animal that was just born.
A living thing is just born.
Yes.
All right.
You got it?
Okay.
Okay. So now let's read about the adult.
The adult. The adult female crab lays many eggs in a spongy club that sticks her body.
That sticks to her body. Okay.
Yeah.
So imagine like a little sponge.
Okay.
Okay, and so that little sponge is what's going to have many, many, many eggs inside, and that little sponge is going to stick to the crab. And so everywhere the crab goes, she's going to be walking around with the sponge stuck to her body until those little larvae come out.
Maybe like you put the sponge and cut some holes, and then you put the egg into the hole. Then hot glue where you cut, glue them back, and then stuck to the crab.
Right, yeah. So it's an easy way for the crab to take care of the babies because they're going to be close to her, and she just carries them around everywhere, right?
It's kind of cute.
Yeah, it is kind of cute, right? Okay, so we're going to continue reading.
The animal grows bigger and becomes an adult. Then it can have its own young, and the life cycle begin again.
Right. So do you see how it's just like a pattern?
Kind of.
Kind of. So what animals lay eggs that do not have shells?
That's
so
a bird.
A bird, right. Can you give me the name of a bird? Do you know the name of a bird?
Parrot.
Right, a parrot. Very good.
Or eagle.
Right.
Eagle.
So after 5 weeks, oh, okay, I see. So I think the cycle started with the adult, and then when the adult has the baby, the larva, and then now the larva is growing into a bigger crab. So what happens to this bigger crab?
After 5 weeks, the young crab must shed their shell. What's shade? I mean shade, right?
Shed means to take off. So it just like, it falls off. So for example, when you shed hair, when a dog sheds hair, its hair is falling off. So
like,
imagine.
Like you have cancer, your hair fall off?
Well, kind of. It's just to fall off. So imagine for humans, for a baby human, it's like when your baby teeth start falling off, so your new teeth can grow. So the same thing happens with crabs, but with their shell instead of their teeth. So, okay, this is called molting.
Molting. So I guess the second word.
Yeah. So, yeah.
Molting means take the shell off.
So when the the small crab, the shell sheds off, right?
Take the shell off.
Yeah, shell off to get a new shell,
Okay.
a bigger shell.
Of the crab. Okay.
You got it? Okay. So this is called molting. Okay.
Molting.
So do you see? This is like the old shell. So do you see how it's falling off?
Yes.
And so now the little crab is walking around without a shell until it's going to start growing a new shell.
But how come a crab has no shell?
It's a little funny. So I remember when I was younger, I used to have as a pet a hermit crab. And so they're tiny little crabs that are this big. And so we would have like a little tank and the little crab would walk around. And one day I went to go look at the crab and it didn't have a shell. It was just walking around the tank without a shell. And I was like, oh my God. I was like, Mom, look what's happening. And later they told us that the crabs take off their shell and they start looking for a bigger shell, or at least these kind of crabs. And so they go into a different shell and now they're just walking around with a new shell.
Then you need to find a new shell. Then you need like to go to the beach and find the shell.
Well, we actually went to the pet shop and we asked the people there about this. We said, we told them our crab is walking around without a shell and we don't know what to do. And so they told us that they would sell us a bigger shell for the crab. And so we just put the bigger shell in the tank, and the crab already knows that they have to go into that bigger shell. So as soon as the little crab saw it, he got in it, and then he was walking around with his new shell. So it's a little funny. Yeah.
Maybe you can write like my little crab onto the shell.
Right. Yeah. Okay, so what about this next, the final step?
The crab keeps going and molting. After about 16 months, the crab becomes an adult. It is ready to lay eggs of its own.
Okay, so here is the big crab, and now it's going to have little crabs, right?
Yeah.
So why do crabs molt? So molt comes, or is the main word for this one. So molting comes from the word molt. Why do crabs molt?
Because if the shell has written have garbage on it, it needs a new shell. Like we don't wear the shirt all the time, the same shirt.
Right. So think about your baby teeth. Why did your baby teeth fall off? And why do you have grown-up teeth now? Why do you think that happens?
Because my baby teeth are not strong enough.
Right, exactly. So those were just for, baby food when you were eating like very soft things. But now since you're an adult, you have to be, or since you're getting bigger, you have to be able to chew harder things, right? So that's why you start growing harder or bigger teeth and sharper teeth. Alrighty.
Yeah, not very sharp, not like some needles.
Yeah, not super sharp.
And we don't eat so hard food like a cup. We don't eat like that. We don't eat can or like a notebook.
But you do need, for example, when you start eating meat, you do need to have, those teeth to be able to rip, the meat apart.
Yeah.
Okay, Elita, so we're going to stop here. Next time we'll talk about butterflies. Do you have any questions about anything we read about the eggs of these animals?
No.
No? Okay. So this is going to be your homework, okay?
Wait, what about PUPA, that word?
Oh, that's gonna come a little bit later when we talk about butterflies.
All right.
Yeah. So hang in there, okay? Alrighty. So your homework for tomorrow will be to think about the life cycle. So here, so you can see how to write that. Okay. So the life cycle.
The life cycle. The life cycle. Okay, just a minute.
Okay. Don't worry.
The life cycle. All right, the life cycle.
Okay. So you're going to create, hold on. Okay, the life cycle of an animal that lays eggs.
Of a that lay egg.
Yeah. Okay. So you can't choose the crab because we already talked about the crab. But we did talk about, for example, insects, right? Bees. You can talk about a fish. You can talk about, let's not talk about turtles because we've talked about turtles a lot. You can talk about an animal in the sea, okay? Anything you want, but your life cycle needs to include 4 steps, okay? So you're going to talk about when the animal just got out of the egg, and then what you think happens to the animal until it gets to an adult and has more babies.
Alright, can I choose a bat?
Well, does a bat have to lay eggs?
Oh, bats are mammals.
Right. So just make sure that the animal you choose lays eggs, okay? And just, if you want, you can number or you can either draw it, or if you want, you can make like 4 sentences, each sentence with the different step in the life cycle.
Okay.
Okay. Do you have any questions, Alita, about your homework, about anything we read?
Oh, no.
Nope. Okay.
I have a question.
Sure.
Is my homework an A+?
Yes, your homework was an A+. Yes, very good.
All right.
Good job. Okay, so if you don't have any other questions, Alita, then we'll see each other tomorrow, okay?
All right.
Okay.
See ya.
Bye, Alita.
Bye. Thanks a lot.
You're welcome. See you.